Love it or hate it, the stock price is always important to leadership, especially at giant publicly traded global conglomerates. Something my old software team was told almost daily was $2 earnings per share. What does that mean for a software team? Well, your guess is as good as mine. But I don't think it had the effect that these silly execs sitting in their fancy corner offices thought it would. So stick around and we'll learn why. What's up, UX fam? Welcome to another edition of the Cognition Catalog, where every week we'll dig into new cognitive biases and explore how that bias can impact how our team works together and what we can do to ensure that we don't get caught up in the pitfalls. Because working with people is hard, and the more insights we have into the human condition make it just a little bit easier. To learn more about mood-congruent bias, you can find more resources at cognitioncatalog.com. Sign up for the newsletter to get a new bias in your inbox every week, and make sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts so you never have to worry about falling for any of these biases again. And if you think you're getting something out of the show, I would really appreciate you leaving a 5-star review. That would help me out so much. And if you want to pick up some big, beautiful art prints of some select biases, make sure to check out beyonduxdesign.com/shop to get free shipping on all orders over $30 and use the promo code LISTENER to get 10% off your entire order. So back when I was working for a giant corporation, there was just so much outside pressure. And love it or hate it, the stock price is always super important to executive leadership teams. So a while back, I worked at a giant publicly traded multinational conglomerate, and the executive board decided on an earnings target. Now, I have no idea where that number came from, but pretty much daily in email updates or from leadership teams and all hands, we would hear the mantra, $2 earnings per share. I still don't understand how that was supposed to help a software team build better software. And while I guess the goal was to stress how important the work that we were doing was, the result was that everybody ended up stressed out. Now, the stress affected not only the mental health of our team, but it had a direct impact on our overall ability to plan effectively. Now, thinking back on it and how it relates to today's bias, I realized that this stress significantly influenced our willingness to take risks as we plan for future releases. And during times of high stress, we could only focus on past stressful situations and how leadership would react negatively to various things when it didn't go the way that they had planned. Now, the result was a team that was simply unwilling to take any risks, which I strongly believe hindered our ability to build better software. And the end product was undoubtedly worse as a result. Now, ironically, in the case of enterprise software, poor quality software resulted in a poor user experience, which led to longer time on task and inefficiencies in their work. And guess what? This caused the company to miss that $2 earnings per share target. Go figure. So, what's the mood-congruent memory bias? Well, we tend to recall memories that align with our current mood. When we're in a good mood, it's easier to remember positive experiences. And when we're in a bad mood, we're more likely to recall negative ones. And this bias affects how we interpret our past, perceive our present, and make decisions about our future. This phenomenon has its roots in cognitive psychology and it's been extensively studied over the years. The concept took shape in the 70s and 80s when researchers started to explore the connection between mood and memory a little bit more deeply. Now, one key finding from this period was that our emotional state at the time of encoding, that's when we first experience something, can directly influence how well we recall that event later on. And further research from the 90s onward has shown that this bias extends well beyond whether positive or negative memories align with our mood. And that's because our current emotional state can actually influence how we interpret more ambiguous information or even recall more neutral events. Our mood serves as a kind of filter or lens that we perceive our memories through. Now, what's particularly fascinating is how this concept relates to broader theories regarding memory and emotion. For instance, the mood congruency effect strengthens the idea that our emotions can evoke specific types of memories, which can then impact our current mood. This creates kind of an emotional feedback loop. And actually, this has important implications not only for understanding memory, but also for mental health, because mood-congruent memory bias can actually contribute to the persistence of mood disorders like depression. But what about for software teams? Now, understanding mood-congruent memory bias can have significant implications for team dynamics, especially in a work environment that's as collaborative as software. The bias can influence how the team perceives risks and opportunities. So, for example, a team member in a positive mood might remember past successes more vividly than their failures, and that might lead to a more optimistic outlook on a potentially risky project. So team members' interpretations and discussions of past events can be significantly influenced by their current mood, and that can affect communication and conflict resolution. So when most of the team's in a good mood, the positive atmosphere can actually boost cohesion as members are more likely to remember those positive experiences. That ultimately fosters a sense of unity and mutual support. Negative moods may prompt a focus on the negative aspects of a dispute, and that makes conflicts even more challenging to resolve. Negative moods might also lead to a more critical or risk-averse mindset, which potentially stifles creativity and innovation within the team. And when I think about the bias, I think beyond my mood or the mood of a single coworker. And that's because our team's mood plays a large role in overall team health, and it can greatly affect how the team makes decisions. And something I think about a lot with this bias is how outside pressure can impact how a team works. So teams can work really well together on their own, but sometimes things like economic pressures, the stock market, or even senior leadership or other adjacent teams can play an outsized role in how our team is feeling, which ultimately plays a role in how the team makes decisions. So what can you do about it? Well, here are a few things that you can do to try to alleviate some of the impacts of the mood-congruent memory bias. First, monitor the team mood. Be mindful of the team's overall feelings when you're scheduling meetings that might require reflective thinking or strategic planning. So if the company's announcing a huge reorg, lots of uncertainty, probably not a good time to do roadmap planning. Train everybody on emotional intelligence. EQ workshops can equip the team with skills to recognize and also manage the emotions more effectively, and hopefully weed out some of these issues. They can recognize them when they're making decisions. Encourage perspective taking. Train the team members to consider situations from others' perspectives, especially during times of high stress or pressure. And this can help to foster empathy and understanding within the team. Next, monitor workload and stress levels. High stress can exacerbate negative moods, making this bias even more pronounced and negatively affecting the team in the long run. And lastly, encourage team building activities. And I'm not talking about trust falls and networking events. I'm talking about regular activities that foster more positive experiences. These can create a kind of reservoir of positive memories for team members to draw from during more challenging times. Well, all right, y'all, that's it for the Cognition Catalog for today. I hope it helped to shed a little bit of light on the mood-congruent memory bias and how we can avoid some of these pitfalls at home and at work. But I'm curious, have you run into issues related to the mood-congruent memory bias before? How'd you get through it? I'd love to hear about it. Let me know what you think on LinkedIn or shoot me an email at hello@beyonduxdesign. I'd love to hear from you. To learn more about mood-congruent memory bias, you can find more resources at cognitioncatalog.com. Sign up for the newsletter to get a new bias in your inbox every week. And make sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts so you never have to worry about falling for any of these biases again. And if you think you're getting something out of the show, I would really appreciate you leaving a 5-star review. That would help me out so much. If you want to pick up some big, beautiful art prints of some of these select biases, make sure to check out beyonduxdesign.com/shop. Get free shipping on all orders over $30 and use a promo code LISTENER to get 10% off your entire order. And if you have a favorite bias that you want to see in print, let me know. I'd be happy to take requests. Until next time, remember you're more than a designer because there's more to UX and design. I'll see you around. Take care, y'all.